I just want to get in here and talk about the makeup of court staff. Okay? Now, each judge has a staff, and that entails the legal secretary, the law clerk. Now, law clerk, they really should change the name, but it is what it is. The law clerk is usually a law school graduate um, who recently graduated from law school, and they do all the research, they write, they're like the judge's right hand person. So a lot of the um, a lot of the cases that you guys read opinions, they're really written by the law clerk. you know, and it's a year, you get a year to clerk, or I think it's 2 years on a federal level, I'm not sure. But I clerked for a criminal judge. He was the first black American to be appointed to the Passaic County bench in 1995. I know that's sad, but it's the truth. It took that long to get a black judge in Passaic County Superior Court, but I digress. So I made history with him, and shout out to and rest in peace to Judge Stephen H. Womack. Okay, he was a Kappa man, and he went to I think Talladega, a historically black college, and then he went to Harvard. He graduated from Harvard Law School in 1968, the year I was born, and he was classmates with Reginald Lewis. Look up Reginald Lewis, okay? So it was a very, very, very great experience. You work closely with the judge. Um, I prepared jury instructions. I I did gun permits. We also were mediators. Hold on. Okay. And then you have the court clerk. The court clerk is like the administrator. She organizes all the paperwork, that happens in the court. Um, and other than the law clerk, everybody else is permanent staff. But in Passaic County, they rotate. So that's how I met Charlie Murphy's wife, Tish. She was our court clerk on a rotation. And that's how I met her, and she was very supportive after I did my clerkship and I opened up my own law practice in Clifton, New Jersey. So that's how I met her. So it was a great experience. I mean, we had some doozy. I'll talk about some of the cases, but a lot of times the prosecutor, the defense attorney, the judge, sometimes I break, they go in and they just talk, gag, because it's just a job, but it's a very important job. So although they're adversary in the courtroom, once they leave the courtroom, they're cool. Some are friends, some went to the same law school, so it's a relationship. It only comes a problem when you have maybe a relationship with the victim, or you have a relationship with the jurors. All that needs to be disclosed. Okay, especially if the defense attorney and the prosecutor, you need to disclose. Now, a lot of us that of D9, that we're a member of D9. We show it, we that. The white fraternities and sororities, they're very secretive, especially after they leave college. They're very secretive about their memberships. But all that should be disclosed. If you and the prosecutor have a relationship, that needs to be disclosed, especially the judge, because you want to be unbiased at all expense. Now we saw, thank God for coverage. We saw different types of judges. You saw Granville. Granville was so obviously biased. I mean, I thought, I was thinking he and Love had a relationship because she had him wrapped around her finger. If I was a defense attorney, the first thing I would ask, for the record, are you involved sexually or relationship wise with the judge? I would want to know the relationship between the judge. And like I said, especially in Passaic County, a lot of judges were pro pro defense. I mean, I'm not pro defense, pro prosecutor. And that's usually what happens in predominantly black areas. Then you get a jury that's not a peer. A white person living in suburbs that's older than you is not your fucking peer. That's something we need to appear, somebody in your age that can relate to you culturally. They don't like a lot of black people on the jury because black people don't give deference to a police officer testimony. We're very skeptical. Whereas white people, they are more prone to give deference to officer testimony. It's changing slowly with the younger Caucasians, but for the most part, because we haven't been treated the best. We know cops plant stuff. We don't hold cops at holy, the most upright people on this planet. Okay? So that's why there's always a push, because you got to see, Patterson is predominantly black. Passaic County isn't, but Patterson is. Passaic, I think in Passaic, why aren't there more black people on juries? I was called to jury duty, I think maybe 2 times since I was 18. Come on now. And they don't want any lawyers. As soon as they find out you're a lawyer, they dismissed. I don't even know why they wasted our time, but I got picked one time for a grand jury, never got a case in Passaic County. So, and then you got the sheriff officer in Passaic County. It's the bailiff. And thank you. Have a nice day. Can I have some, excuse me, can I have some napkins and a straw? And thank you. We talk. Everybody talks. Everybody cool, chit chat. Everybody. So, and sometimes those bellers are chatty patties. They're chatty patties. So if they hear something, sometimes they'll let it leak out. Oh, like I think Queen 88 and them said, she's doing great coverage. She said that the officer told her it's gonna be over today, But they talk. They're staff. They work together every day. They're more together than they are with their families, and it's just like work. You develop a rapport. But you gotta always, I don't care how a scumbag a individual is, you gotta respect people's constitutional right. You gotta just present the evidence, and you don't need to cheat in life. And a lot of prosecutors are unethical because there's not much oversight until someone makes a motion or bring it to the ethics committee. They get away with stuff every day. Withholding evidence, falsifying evidence, especially exculpatory evidence. I'm like this. If you know If you know, don't waste your time on a case if you know that that person, this is not the right person. Sometimes they don't care just as long as they get someone. They're not real. And a lot of times, the people that are informants, they go and do the crime, implicate someone else, and they don't care because they rather keep the informant on the street than make them pay or hold them accountable for the shit they do. And a lot of times, they're the ones who actually did it, the crime. We saw a lot of that in the YSL case. A lot. You guys learned a lot of what goes on. And the sad part about it is that these were black folks. Black folks doing it to other young black men. That's what was challenging and heartbreaking to watch. Because Fonnie Willis, all she cares about is a feather in her hat. When I had no respect for her for going after them teachers, okay, on a RICO. She RICO crazy. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, so that's the staff. They talk, it's just like work, like you at your job. But judges, prosecutors, they're just regular lawyers. They're just people with degrees. They're just some of them very highly intelligent. And they're just people with degrees. They're just like you. I'm telling you what I'm telling you. I'm telling you what I know. Look what's going on at Penn State. I'm going to talk about that later. Look at that. A drug ring. Oh, everybody. Ain't no surprise. Come on. Come on. I'm not the type, what do your parents do? I want my kids to hang around. Shoot, I keep my kids away from rich folks. I don't mess with rich folks. Oh, no. They got too much access to evil. Nah. But anyway, I'm done. Have a nice day. Looking forward for the coverage, for great coverage. Watch Queen 88. Watch Neek at Night. She should change her name to Neek in Court or Neek at Court. And it's another attorney, fit attorney. She's doing a good job too. I'm enjoying their coverage. They're actually on the ground. Okay, I'm only going to promote people that actually go outside. People just sitting in their homes talking shit. And no thanks. All right, talk to you later. Bye.